Thanks to all our active patrons who have contributed a lifetime of $100 or more to reach Garuk Dong level status.
Here is the list of those special patrons in order of contributions.
If you would like to support our show, check out the CommanderSmiths at patreon.com. Welcome, CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowery Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
What did you turn in? Yeehaw, Buckaroo. This is episode 205. Where did that come from, Larry? I like it.
I don't know. Watching Toy Story with the kids.
Oh, nice. All right, Woody. All right, so... This is episode 205. I apologize at the beginning because I have a cold for the third time in like a month and a half. No, it's not COVID again. I don't even think I ever had COVID. It was always a cold. I never tested positive. But yeah, just God damn it. It's like it's making up for lost time because last year didn't see anybody, didn't get sick. You know, the kids didn't go to school or. You know, it was all distance learning and no daycare and all that. And
now you're just getting hit.
Oh, God. It's one after another. So it's just...
That's just how it is normally for me. I have enjoyed not seeing people.
Oh,
so
I hate being sick. Hate winter. I love winter, but I hate being sick. So I'm trying to drown it out with this. Cindy got me this nice Jameson cold brew. It's a coffee whiskey. And it's actually really good.
Is it a whiskey coffee or a coffee whiskey?
Whiskey and coffee. Jameson Irish whiskey infused with the natural cold brew of coffee flavor. You can actually taste it. It's pretty good.
Do you do a little bit of like cream in it? And that'd be good.
Yeah,
sure.
Cream. No, I just do the regular,
You mean like a pumpkin cream? Oh, yeah.
Back to Halloween.
That's
buddy.
a 3-month joke. 3-month-old joke.
Back shadowing.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Sorry.
So it's actually pretty good. It's pretty tasty. I'm trying to drown out my coughs and my sniffs with all that stuff. But are you drinking something that Ibukaki got you, or did you just throw that in the garbage?
No. It's right here, but it's garbage. It was semi unsealed, and I you can tell it's like a stale beard.
He was trying to rape you, is what he was trying to do. He was trying to take advantage of you, Larry.
Nope, nobody would do that to me. I'm not worried about that. But I
wouldn't say
I'm drinking
nobody.
Omegang Philosophy and Velocity East Coast Edition. It's a blend of no. Okay, I kind of talked about this before. That's what I'm drinking. All right,
is that what you 10% had last week? Is that what the last week?
Yeah, I think so.
One?
In between the other one. That wasn't so good. Last week,
when you got ham-boned?
Trashed. I don't know what I was like at the end of the show, but I was trashed
fine.
like an hour after. Was it?
No, you were totally fine.
We were talking until midnight, and then I was like, it kept on going downhill.
It was 1 o'clock in the morning. We got done at like 11:30, and then we talked for an hour and a half because I went to bed and I was like, I thought I was going to bed early, but I'm not.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. But the problem was last week, I was drinking that horrible whiskey. It is gross. By the time I was done, when we left, I was like, I'm probably never going to drink that again. That thing's just going to sit in my cupboard. It was just disgusting. But
Regift it.
This is a good change here. Okay. What are we doing this week? We probably have spoiler season coming up soon. So this might be our last week until we hit spoiler season. Then we'll have more stuff.
One more week.
Hopefully.
It's been a nice break from spoilers.
Yeah, it's been interesting. We've been able to have actual episodes.
And like conversations.
Right.
And so we are going to do a list of our opinions from EDH Rec overplayed cards.
Ooh.
And
this
could get controversial.
Oh, shit. Oh, no, I'm on the other stuff. I would just say
build a better deck.
That's what the segment's going to be. But yeah,
I don't think these cards are bad per se, but like when they are at the numbers that they're at, you're
so
like
much.
That's a lot.
There's one I'm surprised you didn't have on there, but I'm guessing because you knew I wouldn't want it on there. But it's Craterhoof Behemoth, just a little.
No, I get it. I get why that's there.
Okay.
I get why that's.
All right. I don't even know. Do we know how many decks that's in? It's got to be
Nope.
I don't even want to pull it up because EDH Rec does its fun. Oh, wait, I already have it up. Hang on a second. Craterhoof. Let's see this really quick. Just curious because I'm
going to say like 70,000 decks.
Wow. No, you're not right, but I thought it'd be in more. It's in 32,000.
Oh, there's a lot of responsible people out there then. Yeah. That seems low.
Yeah, it does.
We could do an underplayed cards on that.
And that would be on there.
Yes.
All right, so we have that going on. We have a new Stump the Smith Savant. This week we are giving away, the start is Sword of Hearth and Home, retro foil etched version of that. And this week we have, who is our stumper? Project X is going to be trying to stump Lowery this week.
We'll see how that goes.
So then we got that. And then we have the results of last week's Staple Verses. And what is our new Staple Verses, Lowery, this week?
This week is going to be Rhythm of the Wild, which
Rhythm of the Wild, Rhythm of the Wild.
Adam clearly is defending that card.
You can hear it in the air.
And I'm going to be doing Crashing Drawbridge. What?
I think they're both good cards. Crashing Drawbridge is...
Wait, you don't have a song for my card then? Is
No.
that what's going on?
Crash into me, yeah.
Bridge.
And I crash into you. That was
That's
terrible.
a good song too. No, yeah, I mean,
that was a
you
terrible
didn't sing it
rendition
good,
of it.
but it was a good song.
That is why we stopped doing the singing at the beginning of the episode, because I just...
Absolutely.
Right.
It was anxiety.
Do you have anything to talk about that happened to you this week? Because I just have been sick, so that's all I'm really kind of dealing with. COVID's running rampant. You know, everybody knows that. And, we've been getting calls left and right for school.
From the schools.
We assumed that we had it, but luckily it's just a cold at this point.
I mean, I probably don't have a full story, but so I
like that you looked around your room to figure out. You're like,
so
what can I...
My wife's grandmother passed away this weekend.
That sucks.
Yes. But she lives in Germany.
Whoa.
And so that has been my mother-in-law, who's from Germany. You know, her mother passed, and so she's trying to figure out how to get there because they're much more strict than we are. And I think they have everything set up, but sounds like the funeral's not even going to be for like another 2-3 weeks. Like everything needs to get processed and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting. It sounds like the U.S. has requirements when you're coming back into the States that are kind of hard to meet. Like you need it sounds like you need a COVID test to come back into the States within 2 days. Mm-hmm. That's negative. And that's kind of hard to do since like, normally it takes 2 to 4 days to get your results back.
Unless they have the rapid testing.
Rapid tests don't count.
Oh,
unless you have a doctor literally telling you how to do it and it's all recorded and stuff like that. So it has to be like a legitimate, like from a professional doing it essentially, and then processed by them. Yeah. So that sounds kind of hard, especially with it not being your healthcare system. Yeah. And we'll see. Hopefully it's not too hectic for her to come back. But it sounds like they have different mask requirements. They're learning a lot at this point, and it's kind of good that they have time to learn and figure out what, coordinate and yeah. So, I mean, that's sad news, but it's very, I'm sure it's going to be a whirlwind for her, and I feel incredibly sorry for her. She's and I got to meet her 3 years ago. Because we went to Germany, brought my son when he was 1, and or Oma is a very kind woman. And,
How old was she?
She was 88.
Okay, so she had a nice long life there.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So she was kind though, and she'll be missed.
That sucks. Yeah. I don't even want to press a button because
thanks.
Do Zeke's wah wah. That blows. Just everything in general. Well, on a happy note, our grandma turned what is she? Was it 86?
I don't know. But yeah, I
think it was 86, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think grandpa's 92.
I don't know.
It's grandpa's in the 90s and grandma's in the 80s.
I can't count that high. If they don't know me, they don't tell me the number. I don't know.
Grandma, don't listen to this podcast.
She doesn't anyway. We would have been disowned
We had to
4
do
years ago.
Yeah, we definitely would have. Well, we do. They ask about our podcast. How is everything going with Lowery and your podcast? I get that all the time. But yeah, so you guys did the Zoom thing too, right? With Grandma?
We did. Yeah. So our grandma did 15-minute sections with every kind of family that signed up for it for like 2 hours or whatever. So
our grandparents are damn technology savvy because their grandpa was hooking all that up, and we probably
better than me.
Yeah, I was gonna say we probably wouldn't know how to do that. So it was pretty.
My computer didn't even turn on until 5 minutes left in our 15-minute section. So
oh, are you serious? That's funny.
Had some problems. Like, God damn, my computer.
Yeah. So that's what we did this week. My mom's in town and all that. Freaking cold. There was something else I was gonna say, but now I completely forgot.
Yeah.
The one thing that I will say, one thing that magic related that just happened today, which is freaking crazy. The secret layers all got charged and are going out like the last three, like 3 at a time, which is way too much. Like, because they said that I'm glad. Okay, I'm glad. But when you
but this means that they're kind of caught up now too,
right? It just sucks because I'm like, okay, I bought this secret layer and it says this one's going to ship in like April and this one, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, by the time I hit that, I got 2 months to build up my speccing money to whatever. Yeah. But when you have all 3 of them drop at the same time, I'm like, fuck. Like, I am draining my freaking, not only my spec account, I'm going into my personal account to just get this all paid for. It's going to be great. We're going to get all these secret layers. I shouldn't complain because that's how it was in the beginning. You're buying them and getting them within a month, but now they're like, it's just funny. They're charging them all 3 at once. Oh, good for you. You should be hitting that button because it is good for you getting secret layers.
Good for you.
You ordered all but the mischief one, right? Mischief?
No. Okay. So
because I know
I didn't do the mischief one.
He was getting on you for
that. Shit about that. But I didn't buy the mischief one. I got really picky on the latest one. I don't know.
You did the crater hoof one though. You did the crater hoof, right?
No, I didn't do that one either. Nope.
What? I feel like that's one of the best ones that they've done.
Yeah, I was very broke, and that was all happening like right at the moving thing. I didn't get any money in my account until like December, and so.
Oh, good for you! I'm just kidding.
It's not. I mean, I was. It's not good. I was going at 0, and they were going, you cannot fill up with gas. I'm like, son of a.
I guess I'll just sit here.
Use my wife's card.
Do you have any work for me to do in the back? Get some gas?
Yo.
All right. Well, so yeah, that's the only thing that was really happening this week. We really don't have anything else. So let's get into it because we got I don't like being sick and I just want to go to bed. But I like talking about magic and doing this stuff. So this is the most perked up I've been all day. All day I've been just dragging ass. So
yes.
All right. I should get to what we actually need to do here because for some reason
Tags?
we're tagging, but we're also getting like new patrons like every week. So I always have to get to that button. So you can support this podcast by becoming a patron, like our newest patron. Laura, you better get the button ready. Alexander. God damn it. That's not the fucking part that I missed.
Kid can't even read.
How many times do I gotta hit it?
Alexander.
Alexander. Is it a T instead of a D? What am I missing?
I don't know why I'm saying tur. Alexander. I'm looking.
Kid can't even read.
Sorry, I just did that reflexively that time.
It's because his last name, I practiced it a little bit. I'm trying to get it. I didn't ask for my wife's help or anything. Alexander Piletech, I think is how you say it.
That can't even read.
No, that is.
Welcome to a meat forest.
That sounds like a fairy tale of a meat forest.
You can become a patron like Alexander P. and donate $1 or more to Patreon, and that gets you in the Discord for $1. You can go higher with the $5 level, $10, $15, $20. It's the common, uncommon, rare, mythic level. That gets you proxies each month. Depending on what tier you hit, you can hit foil proxies as well. For the people that have not got their proxies from December, that is going out. That is Lowery's fault on that part. No, I'm just kidding. We just had a lot going on. So people that didn't get those, you'll be getting the doubles this coming month. But each month we will send out proxies for the proxy picks. That is the financial way to support the show, and that helps us upgrade all of our stuff and do all that and give giveaways and all that. But the free way to support the show is to check out YouTube, subscribe there to our channel. We just hit a milestone of 600. We are getting closer and closer to 1,000. That is our ultimate goal. Actually, that is just a goal, and then we're going to keep going past that.
It is our ultimate goal to...
It's our goal for this year. For 2022 is to hit 1,000.
I agree.
Let's put it that way. That is our goal for this year. So we just hit 600 today. Part of the reason for that was one of Lowery's videos that went off today, which is Curated MTG, a bi-weekly little thing that's on there. And not only there,
Mondays
it's also
and Fridays.
on TikTok. Mondays and Fridays. What was the Curated that put us over 600 today, Lowery?
Gonti's Machinations. It's a 1 black enchantment. And then whenever you lose life, you gain an energy counter.
Ooh, energy.
Yeah, energy. Yeah, but it doesn't have to be an energy deck. And then if you do it another turn, you get another energy counter, and then you can just sacrifice it. Each opponent loses 3 life, and you gain the amount of life.
You don't sacrifice the enchantment. You sacrifice the energy counters. Is what
No,
you're
you
saying.
sacrifice the enchantment.
Oh, you do sacrifice the enchantment.
Yep.
That sucks.
So yeah, but it's only 1 black. And when you're going in like a Yawgmoth deck where you're paying a life, sacrificing, drawing a card, you do it the next turn to sacrifice a creature, draw a card, put a -1/-1 counter on, and then you can sacrifice it. Everybody, they all lose 3 and you gain 9 life. And so it just kind of like allows you to keep going. There's some commanders that just deal with gaining life, losing life. This can work pretty well in there. For 1 mana enchantment, you're gaining 9 life essentially.
Okay, but here's the thing. Let me make sure I paid, blah, 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 blah. Each opponent loses 3 life. Oh, it is. So you only need to do that once. Okay. I thought it was building up and you could do that. Okay, so it's lose 3, so 3/6, you gain the 9 life. Yeah. Okay.
And then if you are an energy deck, that's easy. You're gaining energy really easy in that. So
who has an energy deck?
Atraxa.
Atraxa. That's for future stuff. Okay, so that is the biggest thing with those is you watch those. You can watch that on YouTube or you can check out TikTok because we are now on TikTok. We are spreading worldwide, so TikTok is another place to check those out. If you go to TikTok, subscribe there as well, but right now we are on YouTube, so let's stay on YouTube. You can see our podcast on there where we talk every card that we talk about pretty much will show up there. You get to see Lowry's sweet-ass robe and what we're drinking and just all that stuff when you watch us on YouTube. If you have a choice to listen to the podcast, that is probably the place we'd like you to watch, but we just want you guys to listen. That's all that really matters. What's another one we have weekly? Oh, Proxy of the Week. This last week was a Lowry request, which is the Sakashima of 1,000 Faces.
10,000 faces?
I thought it was 1,000.
Maybe it's just 1,000.
Yeah, it's 1,000. So I did a sweet freaking, I found a really high quality image of it, and that turned out amazing with the smoke and everything.
It looks damn good.
And then I also used the Game of Thrones Hall of Faces with Arya image, which is really sweet too. So that 2 images there, but that's every Sunday at 7:30. I go live on YouTube at this point. Might switch over to Twitch at some point when I learn it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Some point.
I know this will never happen, but unless we do that Game of Thrones podcast, that isn't going to happen. But what if we took Game of Thrones characters and or Lord of the Ring characters and actually put them to, like, I think Arya is Sakashima in Magic, and then like this, that could be a really cool skin.
That's not a bad idea.
But that's
some work.
We don't do that.
Do it.
No. That's not really our thing.
Well, it could be a proxy time thing where we make proxies of those. I don't know.
It could be its own podcast. Brainstorming for proxies.
There we go. Okay, so that is every Sunday. Check those out. That's where you see the proxies. Again, we have over, I think it's approaching 300 if it's not past that, 300 proxies. That also goes back to the Discord stuff. or Patreon stuff. But another video that is a weekly video is the Searching for the Spotlight, which right now Lowery is working on Umbris, which you are almost done with, right?
I think it's done. I'm done doing any like searching for the spotlights. We'll do an actual like spotlight deck tech here in the future, but that is when it happens. So I don't have any
Thursday evenings.
But search for the spotlight. I work on decks, and this week on Thursday, 9:00 Central PM, not AM. I don't wake up that early.
Well, you do.
I do.
Kids. Yeah, the kids.
I can't do anything. So this week I'm going to be working on Calamax, but it's going to be a Dragon's Approach deck. And I think I'll be able to knock that out that night. That's probably the only one that it's going to be. Maybe next week, but I doubt it. So, but I think that's going to be really fun.
Good for you.
What?
You're so good at building decks.
That's
You're
not
amazing.
the point.
You can't do
boobies.
All right, that works. Yeah. There's a lot of boobies. I appreciated that GIF that you put on Discord today because it got things.
That was way beyond. It was the gal that's in your picture back there.
Right,
oh, way to not angle it.
Right
yeah,
there.
that one. So that the GIF that normally happens is she just kind of jiggling the bra, but then mine for some reason went beyond. She pulled it down and went. You're like, whoa. That got really close to getting me in trouble.
Jacuzzi was like, I like coming onto the Discord, and this is the first thing I see. I was like, yep, boobies.
It's a lot.
All right, so I keep hitting the mute button because I'm coughing, so that's why
it's working.
Yeah,
I'm not even noticing.
So that is we work on decks. We'll both be working on decks mostly. Lowery, like I mentioned before, Lowery is the deck tech wizard.
But just basically check on us every day at this point, because we do curated on Monday, podcast comes on Wednesday, we're doing the decks on Thursday, curated on Friday, proxy time on Sunday, and so just
a couple days.
You get Tuesday and Saturday to breathe. Who cares? You know, go spend some time with your family those days.
And the thing about the searching for the spotlight stuff is that's a live thing as well. So when you're on there and you want to just chat and give tips and all that stuff, or work at. Maybe you want to learn how to build, like see how Lowery builds. Like I watched a portion of it, but then I was doing something on Thursday, so I didn't get to stick around. But Lowery does things a lot faster than I do, so it's actually a good, especially when it comes to sex, he does it a lot faster. But when he's building the decks,
how do you know?
Where's the camera? No, but he. You cut things a lot quicker than I do, and so just to see how you go about it. Remember after that first episode you did, I was like, oh dude, we do similar things of how we do it. You just go about it a lot quicker. Like I cut maybe 25% as much as you do in your first round cut. So it's a good learning opportunity for building decks, and then also interacting and suggestions. You got some suggestions from people for building decks and stuff like that.
And that's been a lot of fun to chat with people when we're going about. And most of the time when they're going, why are you doing this? I'm like, because I'm forcing it. And then later I'm going, you're probably right.
But you guys might have noticed, especially the longtime listeners, Spotlight deck hasn't made its appearance for the podcast for a while because this is the plan for it. This has always been the plan, that we want it to be a YouTube exclusive thing, and the podcast to be just more of a segment thing.
We've always found that decks and talking about just decks as a whole is just so much better visually.
Right.
And
because when you're hearing somebody talk about it, it's like, to me, at least, it's why I don't listen to some of the podcasts anymore, is they talked about decks all the time. And to me, it's like somebody telling you about their dream, where it's like, I don't fucking care. One time I was riding a lawnmower, and then I was like in the clouds, and then this guy, like, it's just like, who cares? You're not making sense.
What? No, I definitely know clouds and I know lawnmowers. What is wrong with this?
So that's why this series has shifted to YouTube, and we'll continue to do that. We're going to do a big breakdown of the deck here in a little bit. So, all right. So that is YouTube. That was a long YouTube thing. We're ranting with YouTube.
But like we said, we're pushing for it, and if you listen and you don't want to listen to us on YouTube, just go over sub and then don't ever pay
Just-
attention to us
Just
again.
get away. Yeah.
I mean, just
Then
on the
you don't have
podcast.
to.
Whatever.
So then Twitter, right now, we are doing a giveaway for the rest of this month. If you haven't done so already, we keep retweeting out each time the podcast comes out. But because we broke the record last month for most downloads, and we're on track. We are currently on track to beat next month. So if we do that
Wait,
again,
what?
we are on track already.
We've only had one.
No, we've had two podcasts.
We've had two this month.
And
so
December
far?
had 5, and we're already on track to potentially beat this next month. So if we beat it again,
Shit, it's the 17th already?
I know. If we
18,
beat
19?
beat the record
God.
again, we will do another giveaway. But right now, because December was our most downloaded month, we have for Twitter people, anybody, you just need to retweet that original tweet, like, and follow us.
Yeah.
And you have a chance to win wedding ring, the original wedding ring. For those of you that are patron by the end of this month, if you're $5 or more, you get entered in to potentially win a quip
and a wedding ring.
A wedding ring full art version of that. So that is
That's
on there.
automatically.
You don't have to do
so
anything.
if you become a patron this month, that might help.
Yeah. So you can become a patron. If you're a $1 patron, maybe up it for just a month. Get in that $5 and then you get in your name in the drawing. So
That sounds
be
like
totally worth
cheating.
it.
Don't do it.
But it works.
Don't do that.
All right. So that is Twitter. We do a lot of other things on Twitter and no one sees it. So that's fine. Whatever, Twitter. You can also direct message us there. That's also where we do polls and stuff too, I should say, for Staple Verses and all that fun stuff.
When I'm stripping.
Oh, we will get Twitter followers if you do that, Larry.
It's a bent poll.
That is the next thing. Okay, so then the other thing is if you want to direct message us, you can also send us an email at CommanderSmiths@gmail.com. And it is also where, if you're not sending it to me direct message, you should send your Stump the Smith Savant suggestions. Like, it's time for everyone's favorite game show, Stump the Smith Savant. It didn't work very well.
All right, let it bend.
Yeah. I tried to toss the paper and it just
It's
landed
hard.
there.
It's impressive how well he did it.
Yeah.
I mean, they were smaller cards and whatnot, but
All right, if you guys don't know how this game works, you are going to try to stump Lowery.
try.
Very easily stump Lowery here. I am going to read the flavor text of a card, and Lowery is going to try to guess the card by asking yes or no questions. Every yes, he will hear this.
Hello, boobies.
Every no, he will hear this.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
He will get up to 5 wrong answers. After the 5th wrong answer, the stumper will win the card plus the Keldon Warlord, signed by both of us. So that every prize that we give away is with that as well. This, like I said before, Sword of Hearth and Home retro foil etched is the prize as of this point. Every 4 weeks, we will add a card. We've only gotten up to 2 prizes at this point.
I lose right away.
And then you lose on the 5th week.
So somebody gets 2 cards.
The other part of this is if Lowery can say the casting costs, what the card is, like type, and how, all the stuff about the card except for the name, he will get the initials of the card as well. I will give 3 clues. Typically it is, well, you get it. It's what the art is, what the card does, and then where it's from. So those are his 3 clues. And this week's stumper is Project X. So here we go. The void is without substance but cuts like steel. The void is without substance but cuts like steel.
Okay. So this sounds like a black card to me. I mean, void is on a lot of black cards. It's kind of like exiling, cuts like a blade. Would you say?
The void is without substance but cuts like steel.
Cuts like steel. So cutting, it cuts like steel. That makes it seem like potentially a removal spell. Maybe an exile removal spell. Could just be like graveyard exiling or removal as well. Cuts like steel. Steel might be a reference to Innistrad because like steel is something that kind of deals with werewolves and vampires and shit like that. So that could also be something in there. It doesn't seem like a creature. Clearly not a planeswalker. Could be a sorcery, instant, or enchantment. It seems like earlier flavor text. It's not older stuff, I don't think. That doesn't seem right. Golly.
The void is without substance but cuts like steel.
I don't know if people like to hear me do a guess right off the bat. Is that more entertaining for me to just be like, I think it's this color?
Dude, if you get it without a clue, that's like dick flopper right there.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to get it without a clue, but the question would be is if I get this, are they going to send us a card? If I get it without any...
I like that. They sign it and send it to us. I like that.
Yeah, if I get it, no matter what, I want you to.
It's like $150 card, and they're like, nope, you got to sign it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, basic land, sign it, and I want to post it.
Oh,
right
I
here
like that idea
as my trophy. Okay, let's go with a clue, please.
The art features an angel dropping a sword. The art features an angel dropping a sword.
So it seems like I'm right. So it's a black card killing an angel or killing a creature. So is this a non-permanent card?
Hello, boobies.
All right. Instant or sorcery? I don't know, but I think, black and white has that back and forth. So it makes sense that a black card would want to be killing an angel. But I mean, it could be a white card because sometimes they do weird shit. But I think, is this a black card?
Hello, boobies.
The void is without substance but cuts like steel. The art features an angel dropping a sword.
Okay, so it's a black, non-permanent card. Let's get a second clue, please.
The text features destruction, but color matters. Text features destruction, but color matters.
Color matters? Angel.
Art
Color.
features an angel dropping a sword. And the void is without substance but cuts like steel. It is a black card, and it is a non-permanent. That is what we have on the table. We have no wrong guesses at this point.
Okay, so color matters. Color matters? Shit. If that's the case, this feels like maybe like a core set card then? Because they do that kind of random shit. But it has to be good. It has to be in over 5,000 decks. So it has to be kind of good, at least kind of.
Okay, the third clue will tell you all that stuff, maybe.
Hold on. Is this okay? Maybe that doesn't matter. Hold on. Maybe it's because black. Okay, so that makes me feel like because there's the vampire one that means that you can't do it has to be like a monocolored creature. There's one that's like an artifact, maybe non-black, kind of like terror. It could be terror. Could be Doomblade. I'll bet you it's one of those two. I don't know all the arts for Doomblade or Terror. Terror has been around a lot.
Is it?
Okay, so like at least where is it an instant?
Hello, boobies.
Okay. So we know it's an instant. We know that it's a black card. We know that I would bet that it's 2 mana. But it's the art. Like, I don't think it's Terra. I can't think of anything for Terra. But that totally makes sense. Like, color matters. Like, if it's saying non-black creature. It's just fucking Doomblade. Is it Doomblade? Because there's one from like the D&D, or not D&D set, but there's a dual deck. It has different art than the original. In my head, there's the big sword, and it's cutting somebody. Is that an angel? Get into my head.
I can't. I'm over here.
Get
into my belly.
Okay, I'll take the third clue, please.
It is in 15,000 EDH rec decks and has been printed many times in core sets, but only once in the first Commander set.
Can I ask for a clarification on that last part?
Sure.
What do you mean by... What was it even?
It is in 15,000 EDH rec decks and has been printed many times in core sets, but only once in a Commander set, in the very first Commander set.
Okay, it was only in
one Commander set.
One
and it was
Commander
the
set
very
and
first
at the
one.
beginning. Okay. So that makes me feel like it's... See, okay, so here's the other thing to... Wording-wise, you say core set. And
like
Terror has not been any core sets.
You know, like Magic 10, Magic 11, Magic like
Are you counting
set.
all of them, not just like core set 2022 or 2021 or whatever?
Like the older core set. You know, when they were like the core sets, you know, where they had the numbers in there. It's been in a lot.
Those are
it's only been
in my opinion, those would be additions. Core set would be from like 2010.
Yeah, I guess the wording of that. Well, if we're doing core sets, it's been in still many.
Okay.
Making sure of that.
So it's still... There could be a Terror with an alternate art in dual decks as well.
You have five wrong? Or
Is this Terror?
Wrong.
One wrong.
Black instant. It's been printed a ton of times. Core sets. Is it Doomblade?
Hello, boobies.
There we go. Is the art the one that I'm thinking of from the D&D,
art is
or
the
is it
main,
just all of them?
all of them. So it has an angel going like this, and the sword's flying up above her head, and she's being slashed. And then even when you go to Mystical Archives, it has a angel being slashed, and the sword is also off to the left.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to see.
I don't know if I know the Mystical Archive one.
Then when you get it, there's some like full art ones. I'm gonna turn off the music here.
Full art?
There's full art ones that have a dragon in it, and then even the Japanese one looks like an angel being slashed. It looks like they went with an angel, and they have.
It was made to kill angels.
Yeah, that's because it's destroy target non-black creature. It's 2 mana, 1 white or 1 colorless, 1 black instant. The only one that had kind of different wording was one of those. It was one little. What is it? One little word was all it took. The world shook as I said it. The doom of Zendikar was here at last of Nixilis. So that would have been a little tougher with that. So because it was such a used card, I was like, God, I got to try to make this really vague with stuff. Because it almost seemed like my third clue threw you back off because you had Doomblade. It felt like, not that you were off, but, you know, questioning it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But you were right
Yeah.
on track right away with like breaking down. You're like, I think it's black. I think it's removal. Like you even, I think before even, I don't know if you said Doomblade before I gave the first clue, but you were on that track already before I even gave
I
the
was,
first.
yeah, I was close to there. The color one almost threw me because they have ones that are very specific, like destroy target green or white creature. And then I don't know those very well, but like they're so specific, they might not be good, like played that much. So hopefully they're not.
All right. So now we get on to,
But nice job, Project X.
yeah, no, that was
I
that
am
was a
sorry
good
that
one.
I got it. I'm not. I'm
So
not
again,
really.
yeah, I should get back on
You
that.
need to sign a basic land, your choice.
No, it has to be up the first guess.
What?
I think a rule that we add in. If you can get it without me giving you any clues, they have to sign something and send it to you.
I think they just send me a basic land anyway. I want a trophy for just getting it. You can sign what card I guessed, and you sign it. It can be a basic land. And then I'll post it somewhere in here.
Is that makes you feel better? Because
That's my trophy.
We
Yeah.
keep losing and giving away cards. Is that what?
Yeah. I want something in return at this point.
What do I get? You were both losing all this money by buying cards, and you just get these signatures from our listeners. Son of a bitch. Okay. So again, I forgot to mention 5,000 EDH rec decks or more. That's what it needs to be. And if you guys have any suggestions, send it to me. Like I said before, your name stays in until you get drawn. So Project X, he put in his request back in September, and it just got drawn. So
Hey.
there it is. So email's the best place. If you're not a patron or on the Discord, if you're on the Discord, direct message me. There we go. Now we move into.
I would just say build a better deck.
That's our best button with that.
Boy. Oh,
Or be overrated. No, it's just overplayed cards, right? Top 10 overplayed cards that we kind of.
I mean, they just seem like they're in a lot of decks. Some of them were kind of, our list was bigger than what it is. You distill it down. You have different talking points. You don't want to say the same thing over and over for a bunch of these cards. So we're trying to have different takes on some of these. But all of these are kind of played too much.
right.
So you should build a better deck.
I would just say build a better deck.
I need to put that volume up a little louder on that one.
No, that's good.
Because you just need to be yelling it.
Right.
So we are going to work our way down from 10 to 1. I'll start this one because 10 is one that I kind of vouch for a little bit more.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting talking point, at least.
Yeah. So number 10 on our list, and this might get a lot of people mad, but it's a brand new card. I mean, it hasn't even been out for a year, but it's Monologue tax. This is in 12,000 EDH rec decks. Don't get me wrong.
Didn't you say it was fucking amazing? Didn't you say to put it in every white deck that you ever built?
Didn't you say to spec on it, especially you went and bought
So what are we doing here?
Yeah, I'm killing my goddamn spec right now. If you think that I am trying to talk up any of my specs at all, this is not the case because I bought a bunch of these full art ones, and it's not that it's not a good card. Don't get me, but it's we hyped it. Every cast, every content creator, everybody hyped it.
Yep.
But when you sit down and break down the numbers of what it actually does, like so not to compare it to Smothering Tithe, but that's what everybody did, and that's what we did as well.
And it's almost not comparable.
Yeah, you have Smothering Tithe that like 1, and then this is like if you had a number system, you're down to like 87. Like it's not saying there's 87 cards between that,
but Smothering Tithe is 1 through 75.
Right.
like it's just this large void in white, and then there's a handful of cards.
So the thing about this is like Smothering Tithe is you can kind of abuse it in a way. You can make players draw cards, and you're like, all right, everybody, whatever.
And people want to draw cards.
Yeah, and so they're like, am I going to pay 2? No, I won't pay 2. Go ahead and draw that. This is very like flexible and like, hey, I don't want you to get a treasure token, so I'm going to cast one big spell, or I'm going to cast a spell and keep a spell for protection or whatever. It changes their plans a little bit, maybe.
But after we were discussing it, because I was like trying to compare it to Mangara the Diplomat, because like I draw cards on it pretty easy. People are playing 2 spells, and I'm just going, okay, I'll draw a card. But drawing a card versus creating only 1 treasure token is just so much better. It's like leaps and bounds better.
Yeah.
Right. And I think when we were having the discussion before, you were saying like, people want to draw cards. And so with Smothering Tithe, it get back to you without even abusing it. You might have 7 treasure tokens.
Right. With this, you might have 2, maybe.
Well,
at the most.
At best, you have 3.
3, yeah.
At best, you have 3.
Most likely, you have 1 to 2. I think that's what the average would be.
I just don't think anybody's going to care.
I will back it up really quick.
I mean?
There is a possibility for more than just 3, if you think about it.
If people are
casting on other people's turns, yeah, that's the only.
But you need to play 2 on their turn. You need to like counterspell and removal, and again, I still don't think people care. That's not going to happen a whole ton, and so like if you get back and it's 4 or 5, that's going to be the best fucking turn you get with Monologue Tax. That's like the ceiling. But generally, you're going to get 2. You're probably going to get 2. And is that good for white? Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned when we were talking precast, this is what we figured out the 5th best ramp or mana giving for white. 5th best white card for ramp.
And so that comes into, but this is a discussion on hype with content creators and like, we were hyping it. Everybody was hyping it. And so people come in and they're going to be shoving it in decks all over the place. And sometimes it just gets into more decks than it should.
Yeah.
And so this is maybe not necessarily an aim at Monologue Tax, but just like watch out for hype cards.
Right. Yep. And that's why I made it 10. I mean, it hasn't been a year. It's in 12,000. That's a lot. Like for a year, if you get in 5,000 decks, if a card makes it in 5, that's a good year. Like that's a good deck.
Unless the card is crazy bonkers good, like Esper Sentinel.
Right.
Like everybody goes, that's a good card. And then they're playing it and people on Twitter or Facebook or wherever you're talking, they're going, this card's fucking crazy.
And then it makes the CommanderSmiths top 10 list as the number 1 card on both their lists, and they don't even know that that's what's going to happen. Yeah. It's a crazy good card. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's hype, but it's also meeting expectations.
Right.
And so you should we don't know everything. We just know most things. and so like I think
we're Smiths. We're good at stuff, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
one good thing Jake has said to I'm just kidding.
I don't know if it is. But it's
yeah, it is actually pretty douchey.
Like there are still, we can still be wrong. We can still have that discussion of going like, okay, hype is understandable. Like it looks like a good card on the surface, but it's not going to be crazy powerful. I might have it in one deck. I don't even know if I have it in a deck. I don't think it's made it in.
It's because it's not red, so I don't have it in a deck. So, but the thing is the white decks that I do have that are made, it didn't make it in there, whereas other cards did make it in there. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, oh, this has to make it in there because it's a like Esper Sentinel. Like every white deck, I was like, get the fuck in this deck. Get the fuck in this deck. It just needs to be in there.
It's just so good. Like it is a straight good draw card. It's not the qualification of this is the 5th best ramp spell for white. Like Esper Sentinel is one of the best draw spells out there.
Yeah.
Like it's really fucking good. And so those are kind of those differences of like, we weren't doing qualifications of like, we were just going like, this looks like Smothering Tithe.
Yeah. And
I think a lot of people did that. The comparisons were all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm not just trying to say, us.
Well, we said poor man's, I think if I remember right, your quote was like, it's a fair Smothering Tithe.
Yes. Yep.
I think
this would be really fucking good if Smothering Tithe didn't exist.
Exactly.
Then you'd be like, holy shit, this is really good. But Smothering Tithe does exist.
So this takes that spot.
So yeah.
we aren't going to do as much discussion on every single one of these, but this was this one's kind of like a hot topic one. Like I think it just is going to get people probably like, what? But then you have other people that have been playing with it. So, all right, let's move on to number 9. Number 9, Lowery.
It's going to be Harmonize. This is
You're
2 green,
cards,
2 color. This was your choice. This was your choice.
I'm trying to do what you did to me on Monologue. What, Lowery? This is drawing cards.
This is 2 colorless, 2 green sorcery, and you're drawing 3 cards. There's no hoops to jump through. It's just
Lowery,
easy, straight.
This is in 53,000 EDH
This
rec
is in
decks.
53,000 EDH rec decks. Yes.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of decks.
Just
is it in any of your decks?
Nope. I've never.
Is it in any of my decks?
I'm guessing no. I have never put this in a deck. I've never put this in a deck. Like it's just
And I haven't put it in a deck in the last 5 years, easily.
So I've been better than you for a long time. No, just kidding. No, it's because part of it is the theme stuff with it. It is good draw. You're drawing 3 cards.
Yep.
Hey, 4 for 3.
It's
That's
incredibly boring.
Yeah, it's very boring. Like, is this just like I would want to find a card that does what my deck is doing to draw cards instead of using this. You know, it's just.
Sure.
It just seems like a waste. And for 53,000 EDH rec decks, it seems like too much.
I think that's the big thing. Again, it's I think you put it in if you're light, like you don't, maybe because there's so many printed versions of it. You know, it comes in commander decks. That's probably why it gets up there.
It's really
because
cheap.
you just
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
very
have
cheap.
a lot. You know,
Right.
It's super budget, easy to fit in. And I wouldn't go like, why the fuck you playing that card? It's just, it
Why is
feels
it a
like
wall of
there's
stone.
yeah. It just feels like there's probably better versions and better cards to choose from.
I'll put it at this. I've never it's never been in that 150 cards that I start with when I start to build a deck.
You've never even put it.
It's never even gotten there. And I have tons of those. I have fucking tons of them.
Yeah,
and it never makes it there. And I could probably say maybe there's been one time it was there, but it was cut so quick early on that I wouldn't consider it part of it. Yeah.
I think it's an old school commander card. Like this used to be one of Green's best draw cards. You know, this came out in Planar Chaos and everybody went fucking nuts and it was a good card. But at this point, Green has a lot of draw. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of choices and there's a lot of different choices. I just think I think it's simple. So like, I get it. I get why it's at 53, but it feels really high.
Yep. That's so high right now. All right. So number 8, this is kind of a broader number here, but the initial one that we're talking about is the diamonds. But we're also fitting a couple other Monarchs type things in here.
I think we're going to have 2 different spins here. You are specifically kind of going after the diamonds.
Yeah, that was my point of this one, was the diamonds, because of there's just better Monarchs. I don't like Monarchs that come into play tapped.
Sure.
Unless they give you a huge advantage. I would rather play a 3-drop Monarch that comes into play untapped and gives me any color than play a 2-drop that comes in tapped and is specifically for one color. And so that's just these never make it into my decks as well.
If you don't know what the diamonds are, they're 2 colorless artifact. They come into play tapped and they will produce 1 mana of, red, black, white, green, red, one of those, whatever, diamond, moss diamond comes into play tap, and then you can tap it for a green. And so I agree to an extent, because there are enough 2-mana rocks that are good enough to just put in. Like Arcane Signet exists.
Yeah.
Felwar Zone. Yeah. Felwar Stone exists.
Mm-hmm.
Thought Vessel exists.
I would rather play, and this is where by the way, they're in 20,000 plus EDH. There's some other 30,000. There's more, whatever.
Yeah.
I would rather play a colorless Monarch that comes into play
Yeah.
untapped for 2, then play a colored one that comes into play tapped
Absolutely.
for 2.
So like when I look at it, I think most of those diamonds end up in monocolored decks, red and white. And they just kind of go like, well, white doesn't have any. But when you're in a monocolored deck, you're going to have your white mana in your lands. You're not going to need it in your artifacts necessarily, unless you're really going tight with your like utility lands. But generally, you're just going to be able to, like you're saying, Thought Vessel, 2 colorless, comes into play, untapped, colorless, and then you can just run with it. Because like the big thing is like late game. You can just like throw that on, you're down 1 mana, but you're able to move forward. But when you have one comes into play tapped, it's kind of like you're losing 3.
Right.
Because it's 2, then that comes into play untapped. But when you have something come into play untapped, it's like it only cost you 1. Because you get to use that mana right away. And so I think that's the big difference.
I would just say build a better deck.
I'm fine with the red, white, green, blue ones. I'm fine with those.
What?
Green, with the green artifacts, talismans, signets, diamonds.
What the fuck, bro? I'm fine with the 4, except for the 1.
The 4 that Adam's talking about, I have no problem with. But if you're playing an artifact that's 2 mana that has green in it, in my opinion, you don't need them. You're choosing between a ton of creatures and a ton of sorceries in that 1 to 2 range that you can pick. It's just going to be better.
Monocolored decks, right?
Any colored for green. Like if green's involved.
No. And green's involved. But I'm just saying, like, when you're talking about the 4 that you're like, okay, I'm fine with. Do you play the 2-drop tap guys?
Not even in my monocolored. No, I don't. I don't play the diamonds at all.
Okay.
But I'm not. It's not something that I'd be mad about.
Right, and that's what I also wanted to get at is it might also depend on what you have for your toolbox stuff. Like we have oh, good for you, get the button ready, but we have choices. We have things that we can use
for you
in the spot of these. And people might not have that, and these might be the best option, and they're not a bad option. It's just I think they're used more than they should. You should
Sure.
I would just say build a better deck.
Is all I'm saying.
I don't have that button.
Some of the other parts that you
my
were saying,
my gripe is green. Green just has better options than artifacts. Don't open yourself up to artifact removal. Get lands into play. Get creatures that are cheaper. Move forward with that. Do not use.
You were talking about the signets though a little bit too.
Yeah, I'm just saying artifacts in general.
Those.
Yeah,
okay.
Don't use Diamond Moss. Don't use Talisman of Creativity or Demir or Simic Signet.
Anything
don't use those
green.
I don't think there's any reason to be doing that.
Yep. Okay. Let's move on to number 7 on our list.
This is going to be a good,
good segment. This is you right here.
This is mine. Am I saying it? Okay.
Yeah.
I know this one. This one's mine. Okay, I'm going to fight for it.
I disagree.
It is in 154,000 decks.
Should be.
This is like a top 10 used card. It's CommanderSmiths. 3 colorless, taps for any color of your commander, and you can sacrifice it to draw a card. I think it's good, but it's in 154,000 decks.
It's in every single one of my decks, dude.
I might have it in 3.
That's not a monocolor. It's in every single one.
Because the only thing you're getting off of that. Okay, 2 things with CommanderSmiths.
Yeah. Oh, we had
number
some good
one
talks with beforehand with this.
Number 1 is I would rather pay 2 mana to be getting my mana. I like Mind Stone better as a like 2 colorless 1, and then you can pay 1, tap it, sack, draw a card. I'd like that. I like that better than CommanderSmiths. And
I want to find out what that one that we were talking about. We never looked it up beforehand. But it was I feel like it's Relic something, but it's one that was off of Zendikar or something. I'll look it up. Keep going.
And so this is number 2. Is there are a lot of different versions of the 3 mana monolith card.
Skyclave Relic.
Yes.
Which is a 3-drop indestructible. So that's the thing about Commander Sphere is like, you're like, oh, they're blowing up all the artifacts, sacrifice it to draw a card.
Yeah.
Or late game, need to draw a card, don't need the land, blah, blah, blah. But Skyclave Relic comes in, it's indestructible. If it was kicked, which you pay 3 more, you get to add 2 more tokens.
3 total. Yeah.
3 total Skyclave Relics that are indestructible.
All indestructible. Yeah. And if you have like token abuse or like proliferate or whatever, you can just keep on doing that.
Yeah.
So like I think there's a lot of different options to choose from to allow Commander Sphere to be at 154,000 decks.
What was the number you said that you'd be okay with not putting on our list if it was like under 100?
If it was in the 60 to 80,000 range,
perfect.
totally makes sense. But it like if I go top 10 list of cards being used, Commander Sphere, and you'd be like, in my mind, I'm going, no, there's easily 10 other cards way better than this. You know what I mean? And maybe because it's an artifact and it just is able to get into more decks, but I just think there's more interest. There's a various amount of options, and I'd rather pay 2 mana versus 3 to get 1 mana. And so, like, between those two, I don't think it should be in 154,000 decks. Like, I think that's just the number. The number is ridiculous. Yeah.
It's not a bad 3-drop. But they have been making, that was the reason why I was like, yep, I agree, is they keep making these good 3-drop all color artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
And this is starting to fall by the wayside a little bit. Not necessarily. It's been a lot of decks. It's still being used.
There.
It's still used, but it's like you have better options instead of using this. The nice thing is somebody's destroying all artifacts, destroying that. You can sack it to draw. Yep. Late game, sack to draw. It's good. It's really good. But the biggest thing in this argument, in this one in particular, is it's 154,000 decks. So that's
the thing. And I guess we'll get to it in 2, so we can talk about it then. Okay, let's go with number 6.
Number 6, Sun Titan. So this is the. I was surprised that
this is White's best ramp card.
I was surprised you put the best. It's not the best ramp card.
It comes into play. You bring a fetch land back into play. You sacrifice it, and then you put a Greaves on it. It attacks.
6.
You bring that. You fetch back, and then you just gain 2 off of a 6/6 vigilance.
It's 6. Smothering Tithe is way better than this, but it is for 6 for a 6/6 vigilance, like you said. You can bring back. It's a permanent for 3 or less. It is in 75,000. This meets your criteria, right?
It's a lot.
You said you wanted Commander Sphere to be at 75,000. This is 75,000.
What's my problem with this one?
What is it? What's the deal?
What's
the deal, Lowery? That's my Jerry Seinfeld. What's the deal with Sun Titan?
That's crazy accurate right there. Okay. My problem with Sun Titan is 75,000 is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's that's staple territory, and I think one thing about
Commander Sphere is an artifact, so 75,000 is a good number for an artifact. This is a white card in 75,000.
Yeah, this is telling me this is in like 95% of white decks.
Yeah, I was gonna say
all of them.
Isn't there only like 20,000 white decks out there? How is this in there? Like this doesn't.
How is this possible?
The math doesn't work.
And so, like, the thing about this as well is White has other options. I think Sun Titan becomes easy.
Oh, they printed a shit ton of times. So now it went from like a $5-10 card to
it was like $3 to $5.
Yeah,
from what I was. Yeah,
but I mean now
it's under $1 now.
Yeah, no, it's under 50 cents now. This is cheap because they printed it so much. So it makes it easy that it can make it into everybody's deck. Oh, there's my recursion.
Yeah.
This is whatever.
Yeah. And White doesn't have a whole ton of big beaters, so it does a lot of work. And again, maybe this is the Harmonize problem of it's just like kind of generic, and maybe it's just it's good. But is it 75,000 good? No. And I think because I used to put it in every white deck.
That's why I was so surprised when it popped up on your list.
I know, right?
I saw it and I was like, well, Lowery's going to vote this down. I didn't even put it on my list when I was making everything. And then boom, that was the first text. I was like, some of these cards I'm surprised that you have on there because I didn't think you would take that.
And so maybe there's a bias on my part too of going like, and maybe it's experience, but maybe it's me going, this card didn't do enough and it's not worth the 6 mana slot, right? In as many decks as I had it in.
6 should be doing a lot. And this does, but it should be doing a lot. It's 6.
And so, and then the other question is, am I going like, I'm sick of the card. I'm sick of seeing the card. It shouldn't, like that's where the problem of like perception should be. Yeah. I'm sick of me. I want different cards. And so you should want different cards too. And so, I think Dashar from Dominaria is a really cool card to be putting in there. And that's at 4 mana, 2/2. Whenever you play a historic spell, put a, probably a creature into play that's like 3 or less. Teshar. You have, and maybe it's more specific but more powerful. And so I think the big thing about Sun Titan is like it's very flexible. It can get a lot of things.
The way you spelled it made it so it was all French cards again.
Maybe I'm French.
Oui.
Maybe I just had some frog legs. I don't know.
All right, Sun Titan. Yeah, it's in the big thing. It's the same thing. It you have a similar thing with Commander Sphere. It's in a lot more decks than it should be for a 6-drop. That's going to give you a little recursion. If you attack with it the next turn, you get more recursion. Yeah. It's good. It just is it 75,000 white decks good? That might be because of how many times.
That might be the question is like, this still might be one of the better white cards out there.
Is it though? We just did an episode on, there's so many good white cards. There's so many better white cards.
Maybe.
All right. So we move on to number 5. I believe that is you, Lowery.
We're doing me again.
Yes.
All right.
Not you again. It was your card, but
this is my card, but
well, it fits in with the other ones that we were going to talk about a little bit too.
All right. This card is not good. I've never used it.
No, I haven't either.
No. Diabolic Tutor.
And
this is
go ahead.
This has been printed a ton. It's been in commander sets, at least 1, maybe 2. It's 2 colorless, 2 black, sorcery, put any card in your deck into your hand. And I get it. It's a budget version of
Vampiric Tutor, Demonic Tutor.
And those are in double the amount of decks, but Diabolic Tutor's in 52,000 decks, and it just blew my mind. The only time I ever considered it was...
I would just say build a better deck.
Yeah. Is when I was building Kalia the Vast, and I was like, I just want cards to go, dragons, angels, whatever, to go directly into my hand and then cheat it into play.
When you used to play Tutors.
When I used to play Tutors.
That's
okay.
So we do have a little bit of a bias on this because on my list I had Vampiric Tutor and Demonic Tutor just because.
So we're gonna combine these a little bit as a thought,
but
right?
Diabolic is just bad,
dramatically worse.
It's so bad compared to those two, and it's just not saying that you shouldn't play Tutors, which that's what we say. But Diabolic is just bad, and it's being played in, what'd you say it was? It was
52,000.
52,000?
52,000 decks. And so maybe this is like the fair version of Demonic and Vampiric. And so if there are a lot of people out there just going like, look, I just want to be able to tutor, but maybe not go off. Like,
I want to be fair.
Maybe that makes sense. Maybe that makes sense.
Well, it just seems like a waste of turn. You're paying for. There's most likely what you're looking for is not going to be played that turn unless all you're looking for is a land, which ends up happening with Demonic Tutor and all that. But you're paying 2. Yeah. You're paying 2. 2. Hey, number 2.
So 4's a lot. Yeah. 4's a lot for a tutor. But like, okay, So let's go into the other direction of this conversation for demonic tutor or diabolic tutor. Is there on Twitter you see conversations. We don't talk with these people, but we see it, but we don't really interact with anybody other than our Discord. We love you.
Love you, Discord. Where's the
yeah,
heart?
And so like you can have, if you feel like your deck is doing the same thing over and over, and Commander is kind of it's different. It feels different. There's 100 cards in your deck.
Every game is different for the most part. When you start playing Tutor, you're creeping over to the, I guess, CEDH, which isn't bad, but you're creeping over.
Which isn't bad. Yeah.
The thing about that is it reminds me then of Modern. It's what we don't play. It's the randomness of Commander, which is what draws me to Commander. To have, we can all four of us play the exact same commanders 5 games in a row, and the outcome and what happens during that game is completely different. Yeah. When you start adding the tutors in, the outcome and how it all maps out gets very, very similar. If you play it consistent, because when we were playing tutors, I was playing, we've mentioned this before, I was playing 7 to 10 tutors. So I was hitting what that deck was supposed to do. And after it happens every single time, you're just like, well, this deck, it's boring.
Yeah.
It's a boring card.
And variance, and that's something that you have to decide on where your play group power level is, where you want your decks to be, and then, so let's bring this back to the Commander Sphere conversation, is where this is combining now, is when you're talking about like, oh, there's so many slots that are just, it's Soul Ring, it's Commander Sphere, it's Arcane Signet. It's when you start making that list and just going, I have to put these in every deck. And if you're unwilling to go like, hey, Commander Sphere actually has options, and you can fit those options into different decks to make decks feel a little bit different from game to game, I think that should be a conscious decision that you're making to make sure that you're having different gameplay styles. And when Dana was on here,
build a better deck.
No, that's not.
Sometimes
it's just build a different deck.
Build it, but the all around deck is better. You know what I'm saying? Like the when you eliminate, and that's where we get, when you eliminate the tutors, you're building an all around better deck. You're making it. You're not having to only hit those things to make that deck work. That's been our argument with tutors.
But
sorry, go back on the Dana thing.
So when Dana was on, he was talking about where Soul Guide Lantern is, you can tap it and it exiles your opponent's graveyards, or you can pay 1, tap it, and draw a card, sacrifice it and draw a card. And then there's a new one from Crimson Vow where you pay 1, tap it, exile all graveyards, and draw a card. They're very similar, but one hits your graveyard, the other doesn't. One will draw you a card no matter what, one won't. And these are just different decisions on creating different game states within your decks. And all of those things can happen when you're making just slightly different card choices and making sure that you're not having,
deja vu.
Yeah, you're not having the same cards in every deck that you build. And so that is a conscious decision that you should be making when you're building decks. So that all goes in the same thing. Do you want tutors? That means you're going to be getting very similar cards from game to game. Do you want to use this staple even though there's different options? Well, you're going to get similar gameplay from game to game. Or you can choose different cards and get different gameplay. Even though they're similar cards, you're going to get different feelings, different experiences. And in general, I would say avoid that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From our experience. But we've been playing a long time, and again, maybe we're going back to the conversation that we were having with Dana too. we've been playing for 10 plus years in Commander. And so like we were ultra competitive for a while and
that's a good
you
point.
know, and
In the
now we're
beginning,
back down. And so it's kind of like, where are you at
Right.
in
Well,
your
and
journey in
that's-
Commander as well?
When we eliminated the tutors was when we basically started this cast.
I started a little bit earlier and you started a little bit later, but yeah, like within a year or two.
Damn it, I wasn't.
Oh, good for you.
Oh,
I
good
was
for you.
bored. No. I was powering down because you guys were just getting at me.
Well,
and so I was trying to do that like.
But then we made a conscious decision as a group in a way to say we didn't tell people they didn't have to, but we both stopped playing tutors. And the thing is the reason why I know is when we started this cast, at least for my part, is my Akiri deck over here is the one I built right as we were putting out our first episode. The one that got deleted that we had to recut and then do. So the very first episode we had to do twice. Akiri has tutors in it. Oh, you're going for the Ibukaki beer.
That's gonna be real bad.
Oh.
But that's fine. Don't worry about me.
But so that still has
French.
Yeah.
Frenchy.
I coughed still. That still has some tutors in it. And so that's why like after that deck, I stopped having tutors in it. So anyways, we've been on tutors for a while. And I used to have a fart button that I used to use there. But I'm not going to. Maybe I'll throw in farts. You just beep. All right, let's move into number 4, which is another
one of mine. Controversial.
It is Doubling Season.
How dare you? I like how I'm covering my ears, but pushing the further into my ears.
Doubling Season. So here's the thing about Doubling Season.
Yeah.
I will say this is the opposite of all the other ones we were talking about where they are in this many decks and now they're in this. I'm actually surprised that it isn't in more decks, but it's in 36,000 EDH rec decks. And what Doubling Season does, if you guys don't know, any type of counter that gets put on creatures or comes into the battlefield, it's double that.
Yeah.
Double that. The biggest beef you had, and I agree with, is it gets shoved into so many decks that are just trying to make this work. They might have like 6 cards that have counters and like, well, fucking Doubling Season. Well, it's like, you're not going to have both of those out at the same time.
Yeah.
Planeswalkers is where, and if you're a strictly making counters deck, yeah, for sure. It needs to be in there. But I think it makes it in too many decks because people have a few counters in it. And they're like, well, if I have counters, it has to make it in. It doesn't need to be in there. You don't have to have it in there. But Planeswalkers was my only reason why I was like, let's put this kind of towards the middle-ish because that's how we look at Planeswalkers. Like, can it ultimate off of Doubling Season? That's kind of like the scale when you see a new Planeswalker. It's like, well, can it ultimate off of Doubling Season first turn? It can't? Well, then it sucks. Like,
it's bad. And I agree. I think it's just kind of shoved into too many decks. I think if you're making a Super Friends deck, like I would say it goes in there. But I'm guilty of this where I'm like, oh, I have a few token makers. I have a couple of 1/1 counters and I got 2 or 3 planeswalkers here. I think this might just fit. And then, but I think the thing about Doubling Season is there's a big difference in the couple of options that you can have with Parallel Lives, and then you can have there's a couple of other
Primal Vigor is one.
I don't like Primal Vigor either to a degree, but the cheaper versions, the hardened scales, then there's the winding constrictor, and then there's a big difference between 4 mana and 5 mana, and generally Doubling Season is taking a turn off. You're playing an enchantment that's not going to do anything.
Yep.
It's a do nothing enchantment.
Unless it's an Atraxa deck, then at the end of your turn, you're...
Yeah. And so, like, yes, it totally would work in an Atraxa deck. Atraxa works with counters.
Foreshadowing. Not for this week.
Not for the
Later weeks.
Later weeks. So
I might be
think,
3 whiskeys in right now at this point.
Are you lucky?
Three whiskeys and some cold medicine. This is going to be a good staple verses at the end.
Checking on your liver tomorrow.
Right.
All right. Okay. I think we can move on from doubling season.
We can move pretty fast for the next one too, but Despark is our number 3. This is pretty like self-explanatory. It's in 45,000 people that should not be playing this card because it's not that good because you're playing white and black in instant and it's a removal. You can find better removal. Exile target permanent with mana value 4 or greater. Come on, guys and gals.
And maybe we're wrong on this. Maybe we're wrong, but that's really 4 or more is...
You're really limited. You're handcuffing. Anything that limits you with that, and you're playing white and black, the removal capital of the world, and they are...
What is this, Chicago? What are you... It's because they kill a lot of people there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, you forgot about Murderapolis. Remember our little trademark
that was in the night. That was 1990 when we were the murder capital of America.
Murderapolis.
Yeah.
But Despark, come on. I mean, the only thing that it hits is that it gets a Planeswalker. That's the big thing with it because it wasn't it War of the Spark? Yeah, War of the Spark.
Yeah.
Me. Who plays Planeswalkers? We tell you to play Planeswalkers, but no one plays Planeswalkers. Like, you should play Planeswalkers. People aren't doing it, but that's the only reason that this is in so many decks is people are like, well, I got to remove the Planeswalker. Well, the fucking Planeswalker dies from attack because you have 3 other people that kill your damn Planeswalker.
Yep.
Too many decks. That's where we're at. All right.
That's all it is.
Number 2.
This kind of feels like sacrilege a little bit, but I think we have a good reason for it.
Oh, it just gets put in there. It doesn't.
I haven't used this again in years. Wrath of God. This is our number 2. That's crazy. That's crazy that we're saying this, right? Because technically it's our number 1.
Well,
but Wrath of God is in 45,000 decks. 45,000 decks. Now, why do we not like it?
Because what happens with this is it just gets put in a deck to just get put in a deck. Like, it's just like, well, here's my board wipe. Yeah, things are out of control. This is my out. This is how it's kind of like how I use Cyclonic Rift, where if I don't have an answer for everything, if I'm like, oh shit, I don't have an answer for enchantments in this deck, Cyclonic Rift. Well, it's blue. I'm playing Cyclonic Rift. But Wrath of God just gets put in there to be put in there. It's just board wipe. I will put a preface it with this is like, I'm helping my neighbor build an enchantment-based commander deck, white and green. We are kind of going an angle of Wrath of God stuff, but that's because he's making his indestructible. So when you have it fit in the theme, it works. But when you're just going, shit's going down.
I would bet you that there's not 40,000 on-theme Wrath of God decks and 5,000 randomly shoved in.
Right.
Like, I agree with you. Again, this is probably philosophy-wise, but be okay with somebody winning. Mm-hmm. Especially if you Wrath of God and have no follow-up and it's just a reset and make sure
unless they're a huge dick, you don't want to be okay with it. If they're a huge dick, but they can't win.
It's okay to move on to the next game.
Right.
If you aren't gaining, and this is, again, philosophy on my part and probably yours, it's find an advantage with your Wrath styles or some type of advantage. It's fine if it's more than 4. You don't really want to go beyond 6, but it depends on the angle that you're going. And Wrath of God just sets everybody to 0, and that's how it's used. That has been my experience.
I think what it comes down to is theme. Like, if you're just throwing this in because this is your removal, like, find better removal. Like, fit in your theme.
Yeah.
fit in what
you're just
doing.
resetting. You're
Resetting
putting the game.
reset.
You're adding 20 minutes to the game.
Right.
For no reason. It's okay if somebody else wins. Like, hey, their deck's going off. If you have another Wrath that's on theme, that puts you ahead. And if they're winning before turn 3 or 4, where you can cast,
If you really
different type
don't
of Wrath,
like that person,
well,
then
just
go
think on
for
it.
it. Then go for it. No, just kidding.
why do you keep on saying that?
I
It
don't-
feels
just
like it's directed towards somebody.
Just kidding. Number 2. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
That's what I was saying. Number 2.
Yeah, 2 middle fingers. All right. So am I on the last one? I thought I read 10. So do I?
I guess we were all over the fucking place. Oh, this
Yeah. Somehow I ended with.
right now.
That is. You're putting it back on the shelf. All right. So let's get back to drum roll.
I wish I
think
had
have a
some
drum-
more Malort.
You do. You do have more
It's upstairs.
Malort.
It's upstairs.
I can
It's
pause
not
it
down
so you
here.
can get more Malort.
No, don't.
All right. So
Don't.
our number 1 overrated card is in 197,000 EDH rec decks. Fuck you, Counterspell.
You guys need to stop playing Counterspell.
Stop
all right?
playing the
This is
Counterspell.
ridiculous.
What the hell?
That's number 1 on the blue list. Why is that on the? Stop playing Counterspell.
It's number 1 on like every list. What the fuck are you guys
Stop
doing? Who are you? You
Yeah.
are animals.
There should be
This is ridiculous.
100% of people that hate Counterspell and not play with it.
197,000. You guys are animals. What the fuck is wrong with you? And we're not kidding. This is our number 1. That's why Lowery said
Absolutely our number
Wrath
1.
of God was. This is a fucking number 1. We don't really need to say much more about the counters. I hate you guys. I hate you all.
That was enjoyable. That was enjoyable. All right.
All right. Where am I at? I am at. God damn it! We have too many fucking things, Lowery. Why do you have so many bits? We have so many bits I can't even find.
Because we're creative geniuses. We're the
Okay, hello,
Kanye West
boobies.
of magic podcasts.
Oh, here we go. All right, you ready? You ready?
Do you think if I went to a rave with this kind of music and I could wear this kind of robe and I'd be accepted?
Oh, for sure you will.
For sure. I'd sweat my balls off.
I see you changed
And
robes this week because
maybe
the
just-
other one got you really hot.
Yeah, the other one's black. I don't do black very well. It shows.
You're
I got
very
a dog.
sexy with that. I like the tiger stripes.
Yeah, I do too.
All right, so if you guys don't know how this one works, we are going to talk about 2 cards. 2 cards that are fit in the same exact deck. There is only 1 spot left. You guys have to vote. You can vote on Twitter. You can vote on YouTube. You can vote on the Discord. All 3 of them are being... We're going to try to figure out Twitch at some point. Or Twitch. What's the other one? TikTok. We're going to try to figure out some other ways of voting, but right now those are the only 3. We add up all the numbers, beep, bop, boop, 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 and then we come up with the conclusion, and that is the card that fits in there. You're assuming this deck is these colors, so if there are colors in it, if they're not exactly the same, this is the 1 spot that is left. Last week, we had Smothering Tithe versus Dockside Extortionist. Where do you think that ended up? Why are you pumping your arms?
Smothering Tithe definitely won. Come on. People
All right.
like to be fair.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
We're Magic players. Wait. Let me back this up.
Okay.
197,000 people play fucking counterspells. People like being fair. They
Yeah,
like to
they're
counter
just trying to
shit.
make those unfair combo players.
Right.
You got to stop them somehow. How are you going to stop them?
When did number 2 get here? All right, so Twitter
It's a valid argument.
ended up 50-50.
Whoa.
50%.
Really? That's our
50-50.
first 50-50, right?
Yeah, it is.
Like anywhere. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Acceptable.
Discord went 55% Dockside Extortionist.
Shit, I thought they liked me more.
Way to go, Discord.
Damn it.
YouTube, 57%. So these are all in the 50s. This is really fucking
Yeah,
close.
yeah.
We had 55, 57% Smothering Tide.
No shit.
So, wait, where's my drum roll? Go back to the drum roll.
Because the votes matter. So the total.
Yeah. All right, drum roll. Drum roll with
we're within what, 2%?
54% because we had a lot of YouTube voters.
Really?
That's our biggest voting system. 54% went Smothering Tide to 46%. Yeah. So
wow.
You win this one, Larry.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm surprised.
I'm a little bit too.
Yeah.
I fought my best for it, but I think there's a lot of pity votes there. Because you're better at this than I am.
No, you're better. You make funny arguments. I laugh my ass off editing every fucking week. Like I love this segment so much.
That doesn't make a good argument. You just said you make a funny argument. It's okay.
You make me laugh every single time, and so I can't argue because you're making me laugh. That's not why I lost. It was just
no, they're good cards. They're both really
all right,
good
so
cards.
what are we doing this week? What are the two things we're working on this week?
I am going to be defending Crashing Drawbridge, which is a 2 colorless artifact. Two. I would throw an orange at you if I could.
Why an orange?
Because I just went like a chimpanzee.
What? They like oranges?
Yeah, of course they do. Why wouldn't you? Everybody loves oranges.
Add a little more whiskey, so we'll see if I can get my whiskey power here.
Lucky. Okay, so 2 colorless artifact creature. It's an 0/4, and you can tap it to give all of your creatures haste.
Why are you always pillow forting? You're just pillows.
It's not pillow forting.
You're the definition. It's a fucking defender wall.
Pillows can hurt. It's like a couch cushion. It's fine. Look. Okay, so. It's nice to have. Okay, you're right. Okay. You're right. What are you doing? What dumb card are you doing?
Rhythm of the Wild. It's only one more mana.
Did you do like a theme song with your card? Did you come up with that?
No, because you didn't. I didn't know. I should start doing that to try to promote. I like that one week where you're like, way to use a fucking full art compared to mine. I think I lost that week.
In the thumbnails, Adam's using way better art for his cards than mine.
And I like shrink yours down so no one can see it. And I'm just getting all pixelated. Look at this shitty card. He can't even do it right.
It's fucking Pong. What the fuck is he doing?
So Rhythm of the Wild, it is 1 colorless, a red and a green. So
a red and a green?
We're in the same damn deck here. We're in the same deck. It's an enchantment. Creature spells you control can't be countered.
Hold on. It's an enchantment? It's a do-nothing enchantment?
Wait. What is the number 1 card on our Overplayed our cards list? 197,000 people counter shit. This makes it so your creatures can't be countered. Look at that. This card by itself right there is amazing. Non-token creatures you control have Riot. Riot, if you don't remember what Riot does, you can either have it come into play with a 1/1 counter on it, so it gets bigger, or if your people are open, you can give it haste instead of the 1/1 counter.
Yeah.
So you have a choice. There's a lot of things going on here.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Crashing Drawbridge has choices. You can either give your creatures haste or have another blocker.
You know what, though?
What?
You cast Crashing Drawbridge. You can't do anything because it's a creature that first turn. Rhythm of the Wild allows you to cast another creature and attack with it that turn. You don't even have to wait. And you don't have to worry about it being countered. You might get your shit countered by Crashing Drawbridge. You're like, cast Crashing Drawbridge, and then I cast my Llanowar Elf. Oh, it got countered. Son of a bitch.
Nobody's countering a Llanowar Elves. Nobody. What are you talking about?
Sorry. Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Oh, shit, it got countered. Son of a bitch. Whereas you play Rhythm of the Wild, you're like, Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Oh, you can't counter that? That's right, blue player. 197,000 fucking EDH rec decks. And I'm going to give it fucking haste and hit you in the face.
Look, there's a lot of options to give all your creatures haste at 3 mana. And this is one of the better ones. I can totally agree, but it's still 3 mana. Which is, and it's 2 different colors, which is a bigger investment than just 2 colorless. I can just
Why
could go
does this
turn
work
one.
one week and doesn't work the other week when I do the color thing? We use the same arguments back and forth.
I can turn one Soul Ring into Crashing Drawbridge, and that's way better than you definitely have to wait until turn 2 or 3.
Good for you.
That means you're cheating, Joe.
I'm not cheating. I just said you can. I didn't say you will. That's not. And so it's Crashing Drawbridge is fantastic.
I don't like that you just put your hands into your face into your hands. How do I get out of this one?
I'll be an amazing lawyer one day. Just shit. Judge is like, what'd you say? Nothing.
This is how I think.
I'm crying.
You know what I would like? I'd like one of these days when I do my argument and then it goes back to you, you just go, all right, crack the knuckles in front of the camera. Here's my Loweryisms. Because you do a fantastic job. Not this week. You're not doing a good job.
Okay, so look, an 04 has a good ass. If you're
you got me there.
You're gonna
you got a body.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop.
You got a body right there.
And creatures are important.
Yeah, that's why I don't like them countered.
Yeah,
I know.
And so that's why it wouldn't matter. Like if you just refuse to play against blue players, and you'll be happy. You'll be a happy person if you don't play against blue people.
When does that happen?
Las Vegas Blue Man Group. That's about it. Yeah. It was a weird
Can I give you one thing with Crashing Drawbridge just to help out a little bit?
What?
It's a wall. Who's gonna kill this? It's a wall.
Nobody's gonna destroy it.
Right.
Yeah.
Rhythm of the Wild's doing too much. It's too good. It might get destroyed more often.
Nobody wants to destroy
multiple things going on.
Nobody's just gonna straight up kill an enchantment. You're fine.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of enchantment removal.
It's either destroy all enchantments or like it's tacked on to like a Beast Within or whatever.
Yeah.
So
right.
I mean, it's not that good. I wouldn't
destroy
it.
If you guys want to vote. Do you have any more arguments? This one's the funny thing about this is we both are like, I don't care which one you pick, whatever. We both are like trying to pick which one. You had the chance, buddy. You had the chance.
Had a chance for what? I don't know.
I thought that last week too, and I lost. So, all right. So, if you guys want to vote, you guys can vote on Twitter. You guys can vote on YouTube, and you can vote on the Discord if you're a part of that. Vote for you guys' winner. We will announce who won next week. I think that'll do it for this week. What are we doing next week if we don't get spoilers? If we don't get spoilers, are we going to do the Commander stuff?
The one
top.
Are we gonna? Well, we don't have to do just like Overplayed, not overrated, but Overplayed.
Overplayed Commanders.
It's gonna essentially probably turn into Commanders we are sick of, and we're just gonna list off everything that Adam made.
I didn't. I only had 4.
What? Oh, you have Atraxa, you have Nekasar, you have Magda, you have
Magda shouldn't make the list. Is
absolutely number 2 will back me up on this one.
Well, I won't agree to it. No, not at all. Harumph. I will not agree to that. That is not making our list. All right. That should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
For all the sets of boobs, I love boobs. I'm talking tatas. I love boobs. Some bunkers for bonkers.
You have a top 5 of the ones that you hate, and I'll have a top 5 of what you don't like, and we'll just do that.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I do not like that, Lowery.
What are you turning Dr. Seuss? Am I Sam I Am?
I do not like that one bit. Yeah, it is Sam I Am. I do not like green eggs and ham.
You wouldn't.
You like Magda. You beat my Magda the first.
That's only because number 2 helped me. He's like, I'll give you the good card.
That sounds really sexy.
What?
You beat my Magda. Yeah, it's only because
is that what
number
you named your penis?
That's because number 2 helped me.